Old versus new. Today we find out which is better. Representing the old school is the previous generation Civic Type R FK8. Some say the best front-wheel drive hot hatch on the planet. And representing the new school is its replacement, the Civic Type R FL5. This car promises more of everything: power, speed, technology, and a slightly more sophisticated look.
So check this out, there's loads of interesting detail on this car, including this bonnet vent, which not only looks cool, but helps prevent the turbo going into meltdown, big red Honda logo, Type R badge down there, and a bigger front grille. 48% bigger, in fact, to help feed cool air into the engine. The old Civic Type R had a load of fussy elements all over it, a lot of which was not functional at all, but pretty much everything on this new car is functional, including a little vent at the front, which feeds air through the bonnet and into the wheel arch to reduce turbulent air and lift. It also helps to cool the brakes. That air is then fed out through the side, through these vents, where it hugs the bodywork moving towards the rear, and then it's deflected away from the rear wheels by that small fin. It's also got this lovely rear haunch to it. Nice, wide, aggressive stance. And then you get to the back, and for me, this is the interesting bit. Look at that rear diffuser, absolutely mean. And then that triple exit exhaust. On the previous car, the central exit was smaller than the one on the left and right, but now they've flipped it to allow the central pipe to be bigger and produce a bit more sound. Then of course you've got the Type R badge to let fools know, and then the wing. Now this is obviously a bit less aggressive than the previous generation car, but it does produce more downforce with less drag. I think they have absolutely nailed it. Who is this?
I think they ruined it.
I don't remember asking you. Also, a bit harsh, don't you think? And rude, perhaps?
How much is it?
£47,000.
47k?
47 grand, yeah.
That was 32 when it was new. How is that 15 grand more expensive?
Because it's better. Look at it.
Has it got a new engine?
No, it hasn't.
New gearbox?
No.
Is it lighter?
It's heavier.
Drift mode?
Hasn't got drift mode.
Is it more practical?
Don't look in there, there's no...
Oh, only 2 seats in the back.
Okay, yep. But who wants to sit in the middle seat of a hatchback anyway? Utterly pointless.
And the boot? I guess that's...
Smaller as well, yeah. 410 litres, yours is 477.
Is that because it's an all-wheel?
No, it's not all-wheel drive, okay? Oh. They've ruined it. Are you happy now? Is that what you want from me?
I mean...
They still say it's faster though.
Faster, is it? Well.
You're gonna ask me for a drag race now, aren't you?
Yes, please.
Fine.
And with that, Alex and I hopped into our cars and lined up for a head-to-head. Old FK8 versus new FL5. And while you might expect any new car to hold the advantage, things weren't that simple. The FK8 has less power, but weighs considerably less. The new Type R has a power and torque advantage and a quicker 0 to 60 time, but in reality, we had no idea which of the pair would win.
I think he's getting nervous now. I think he's just realised that that car might be newer, but it might actually be worse. The psychological damage is done.
It's all about driver skill now. Unless I lose, in which case, I am 100% blaming the car. Come on, here we go. And we are pulling. We've got a car length gap. That is a result that maybe neither of us expected.
Not bad.
But the newer, more powerful car won. I'll take that. I will take that. I was worried for a minute though.
How was your launch, Al?
Yeah, it was all right.
Was it all right or was it good?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So the FL5 took it from a standing start. Alex and I ran the race again several times, even swapping cars, and the result was always the same. New beats old. But with more modern tyres, that's to be expected. So what happens when you eliminate traction from the equation with a rolling race?
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go! Ah, it's super level. Oh my God, that's totally equal over the line. That's a draw over the line. So there is absolutely no difference between these cars in terms of a rolling race. The launches could have been different because we're running on different tires. But in terms of straight line performance, pretty evenly matched, would you say?
Yes, so in that case, this car's better.
Well, it's cheaper with a bigger boot, but there's a lot more to the new Civic Type R, surely. So I headed off to take a closer look.
So what we've learned is that the new Honda Civic Type R is very similar to the old Honda Civic Type R. But we probably shouldn't be that surprised because Honda have used the old Japanese philosophical mantra of Kaizen when it came to building this car. What that states is that it's all about small incremental improvements. There's no need to chuck big new advancements into any big project. It's all about taking what you have already and improving every little aspect to make it better. So while the engine itself is the same as before, the turbo has been Kaizened. It has a smaller housing, it has fewer turbine blades, and the blades that it does have are of a different shape, the idea being that that increases airflow and boost. The exhaust has also been Kaizened. It now follows a straighter path from front to back to improve airflow by 13%, and that means you get more power and more torque. So it's got 329 horsepower and 420 Newton meters. The torque is especially impressive because it develops that at only 2,200 RPM. So when you accelerate, it's so responsive. I should point out though that when we did the rolling race, the old Type R seemed to come on boost quicker than the new one. But I'm not complaining about performance in this thing because it's absolutely unhinged. It's so scrappy. You put your foot down and it pulls super hard. It pulls a lot harder than you might expect from a hot hatch. It's really impressive. The other thing that Honda have made changes to is the gearbox, and I will admit I was a bit worried about that because the old Type R had one of the best gearboxes in the world. It was so crispy, so nice to use, but I probably needn't have worried because this one's absolutely tremendous as well. They've changed the stick itself and changed the shift pattern slightly, but it's still an absolute joy. They've also given it a new lightweight flywheel, so the whole thing just feels super responsive and alive. It's also got a shift beep, so when you reach the red line, you hear a beep telling you when to change up. It does help out. They've also improved the rev matching in this car. Of course, you can heel and toe by yourself, and it's really easy to do that in this vehicle, but the car can take care of it for you really well. Maybe the biggest tweak in the Type R is the tires. It now uses 19-inch wheels, but with 265 section rubber Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's all around. The old car had 245 section tires, which means that effectively you've got 80 extra millimeters of contact patch to work with from a superior compound. This thing has got much better grip.
Other key differences with the new car include wider front and rear tracks, 1 inch at the front and 0.75 inches at the rear, and a 1.4 inch longer wheelbase for a smoother ride. The body is stronger too, with a 15% increase in rear torsional rigidity. Front suspension is of the dual-axis strut variety with aluminium knuckles, strut forks and lower arms, and multi-link at the rear with lighter 19-inch wheels and the aforementioned superior rubber. In all, it should be phenomenal on track. But how would the new Type R, in my hands, fare against the old model today? We decided to find out. Flat out over the start line, both cars are feeling quick. They might be hot hatches, but both get the blood flowing as good as any sports car. The first major action is up on Avon Rise, which bends slightly round to the left, uphill, before the very fast, very intimidating Quarry Corner. Both cars, as you can see from the upshifts from 3rd to 4th, are very close, but the new model seems to have a fraction more grip and speed. Not by much, but it's there. Pace is pretty similar down Farm Straight towards the S's, and the new car still has a very marginal advantage here as we push towards the fast right-hander known as Hammer Down, which is exactly what I'm trying to do, and again, it's very close. But the new Type R with more modern tires has a slight edge which is about to increase. Here's Tower Corner. I hit the exact same braking point here in both cars, but I carry slightly more speed with the new car arriving at the Marshall post fractionally ahead. Next up, the Bobby's chicane, and as you can see, the advantage is more clear now. There's a definite half-second gap as the old car's tyres struggle to hang on. Both cars get through very well here though, and we are back on the power through that slight right-hander called Westway, heading now towards the final bend and hoping not to make any mistakes as we push towards the line, and that is a lap of Castle Combe Circuit in 2 very quick, very fun hatchbacks. The result is interesting. The old Civic Type R finished in a 1 minute 21.08, while the new car managed a 1:20.2, which is 0.88 seconds quicker. To conclude then, the new Civic Type R is clearly faster. But given the similarity in pace from a rolling start, much of that speed is down to tyres. And while we didn't have the opportunity to run the old car on the new rubber, if we did, the result may have been pretty much identical. Which begs the question, is the new Type R better than the old one? Well, from a technology and comfort point of view, it's clearly more advanced. Subjectively, it's also better looking, but the huge price premium may be difficult to swallow because based on what we've just seen, in performance terms, there's very little to separate them.